Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Yeah, thank you. I have to tell you, I've really been looking forward to getting a little bit of time with each and every one of you this morning. And I want to thank you for even your participation in a mentorship program, whether you were a mentor or a mentee. That is extremely valuable to any organization. And even when Bruce was sharing with me that this program has been in existence for somewhere between 10, 12, 13 years, that's unique. That's extremely unique. And so you can be proud of the fact that in Queen Creek, you have a program that already has that longstanding existence for really helping bring fuel to the organization. How many of you have heard that in the workplace, there's a knowledge gap? Anybody heard that frame of a knowledge gap between people who've maybe been around a little while and maybe those that are up and coming? Heard that? What if I told you there's not going to be a knowledge gap? That's false. AI is going to take care of the knowledge gap. What you guys are doing with this mentorship program is you're fulfilling the experience gap. That's most important. How many of you have been in a situation where you said yes to something and you had no idea what you were getting into, but you said yes anyway? Anybody ever felt like that? Yeah. That's a success habit, basically. And then you figure it out as you go, don't you? Yeah, some of you are laughing because you got all kinds of stories about how that went. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it's a little rough, sometimes it's bumpy, sometimes you're going faster than you can even keep up with. You're in an outstanding moment in time right now because you're here with Queen Creek. You're a part of something that not many people actually get the opportunity to do in their career, which is be a part of a rapid growing organization, a rapid growing city, a rapid growing town, a rapid growing community. Not everyone gets to participate in that throughout their career. And so the fact that you have a program like this is actually, I'll call it essential to the success of the growth that's happening. It's essential. It's exciting to see what's happening out here. By the way, I live close by, so I get a close view. I live right in Gilbert. Don't hurt me for that. But I tell you what, there's some great lessons that any of us can learn when we look at other communities that have been through similar things, isn't there? Mentorship's the same way. Mentorship is an accelerant and a fuel for the success and the strength of an organization. And that's what all of you have chosen to be a part of. And so I congratulate you for that choice. That is a choice to be honored. That is a choice that comes with extra effort, doesn't it? It is a choice that is outside the scope of probably your normal job description, and all of you have chosen to be a part of that. And so I congratulate you for that. I thank you for that, and especially being in the East Valley with all of you and residing in the East Valley and having a couple of companies in the East Valley. I genuinely thank you for the work that you're doing and the fact that you want to be as successful as possible and you want to help each other do it. How many of you would agree that there's some challenges in the workplace from time to time? Anybody feel any challenges in the workplace? Okay, I realize it's, maybe a little after, 8 a.m. in the morning, but the council's not here. This isn't a normal meeting. There can be all kinds of participation and energy. I'm not entertaining enough to be your favorite Netflix series, trust me. How many of you feel like the workplace can be challenging? Is it challenging to work in a growing organization, a rapidly growing organization? In fact, whether it's Gallup, Deloitte, McKinsey, they're all coming up with the same research that there are two big challenges in our workplace, two big ones. And your program actually addresses both of them in an outstanding way. Those two big challenges, one of them we talked about is experience. We have some leaders that have great experience, great expertise, and they don't necessarily want to work forever, especially as hard as they've worked in the past. And then we have up-and-coming people, up-and-coming leaders that have ambition, they've got energy, and they have hunger to be successful. And then there's all that real-world experience in between, isn't there? That real-world experience is valuable. It's the stuff you can't learn. It gets modeled. In fact, it's even hard for it to be taught because you usually learn it in observation. You usually learn it when you've got a good, close relationship with someone you can trust, where you can have honest, open conversations and you can address the really challenging things that happen. And then you can celebrate together when you achieve and when you do things well. That's one major challenge that we have in the workplace. The other one, which interestingly enough has now become more of a global awareness, is that there are a lot of people in our organizations that they feel lonely. And that might sound like touchy-feely, lonely, but the reality is you know what one of the greatest contributors to an organization is? When someone feels like they're a part of something, they're a part of a mission, they're valuable, they're creating value in their organization. That is one of the most important things that we can actually provide as leaders, that we can provide as an organization, that we can provide as a community, is when we recognize the unique value that someone brings and then help draw the connection to how that helps us achieve our vision and mission. Isn't that what happens in your mentorship relationships? You get a chance to have some good conversation and really get to know one another, get to know what each person's unique strengths are. Throughout my lifetime, I've been extremely fortunate to have some amazing mentors. I've also been fortunate enough to be a mentor to others. And I hope that you have found some of the things that I've found from that relationship, which is both benefit from that type of relationship. Whether you're the mentor or you're being mentored, isn't it true that you both benefit? You both learn something new. You both gain a new experience, a new view, a new perspective. And it's ways that we contribute to each other's success. So at the beginning, when I say that I congratulate you and I thank you, that's why, because you truly are making a major contribution in Queen Creek because of participating in this program. Is it okay if I share one quick story with you of a great mentor that I had? In fact, I got like 3 head nods, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. It's okay to share this story because I got 3 people to say it's okay to share a story. This is actually, it's, and my daughter said it's okay too. They're back there cheering me on. So everybody say hi to SJ in Montana. I actually was very fortunate that when I met this gentleman, I didn't realize it was going to turn into a mentorship. In fact, when I met him, I had just had a surgery that put me out of work for almost 3 weeks. And so I'm just getting back into the swing of things. Obviously, my plate is extremely full. I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's stuff that has to be caught up on. At the time, we didn't have a very large team, so me being out that much impacted everybody. And we all had a full load at the time. And then there's a guy that says, hey, I'd like to introduce you to someone. He had written a book that I read while I had time off. And because of the way the person gave me the book, I thought maybe they know the author. And so I asked him, I said, hey, by chance, do you know the author? If you do, I would love to thank him for this book because it was very impactful at that time in my life. And he said, actually, I think I can arrange that. He's like, I don't know him, but I know somebody that knows him. So a week later, I end up meeting the author of this particular book. And when we met, it was one of the, how many of you have ever had one of those interactions where immediately when you meet someone, you can just tell there's something incredible about them. Like there's something genuinely like awesome about them. You can't put your finger on what it is. You just know there's something great about them. Have all of you had an interaction like that before? That was the interaction I had with Ron. And when Ron looked at me, he said, JW, I realize we don't know each other. He goes, but for whatever reason, I feel like I need to let you know that you need to come to our class. You need to come to our course next week. It starts next week. It's going to cost you $5,000. And I looked at Ron, I said, you're crazy, man. I've been off work. My plate is full. I'd have to go home and basically say, hey, guess what? I'm going to take another week off. I'm going to spend $5,000. I'm like, that conversation's not happening. And Ron looked at me and he goes, JW, I just believe this is something that you need to do. For whatever reason, in that moment, I trusted him. Took some heat for that decision, but I trusted him. That turned into an 8-year friendship where Ron poured into my life. He invited me into rooms I would have never got invitations into. He connected me with people that I probably would have never met. People who at one point in my life I probably would have been scared to meet in the first place, would have just stood there frozen going, I have no idea what to say right now. Ron was the one that actually trained me to do exactly what I'm doing right now. Ron saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself at the time. You want to hear a sidebar to this story? This is kind of comical. So I'm telling you it's comical up front because my daughters would tell you I'm not funny. So if I tell you it's going to be funny, then my hope is you'll laugh, even if it's a courtesy laugh afterwards. Sidebar to this story. When I was in high school, what's that? Oh, I thought I heard something back there. Sidebar to this story. I'm in high school, okay? Senior guy, athlete in our English class. And to the final for the class, or excuse me, the midterm for the class is we have to give a speech in front of the class. And so we got 3 topics to choose from. I give this speech. I choose what I'm going to give for my speech. I get like 30 seconds into it. Classroom full of students. Senior guy, athlete, tough, strong, all that kind of stuff, right? Obviously not tall. That's okay. 30 seconds into this speech, I start bawling, crying in front of my classmates. That was an embarrassing moment. I couldn't even finish the speech. The speech was about my dad. I did not anticipate having that sort of a reaction in front of my classmates. You know what happened the few minutes after that? I swore to myself, I will never speak in front of people again. Sometimes there's other plans for our lives, isn't there? Sometimes there's a direction we don't know about. Sometimes there's some gifts that we're not aware of. Sometimes there's some strengths that we don't even know are inside of us. And now, being in rooms like this is just a part of my everyday. It's just a part of my professional life. Building relationships, just a part of my personal life. Even though at one point I swore I'd never do it. Ron was one of those mentors that I was fortunate enough that we built this friendship towards the end of his life. And then, even though Ron had impacted well over millions of people around the world, he wrote 14, 15 different books. I can't even count how many training courses and companies like Johnson & Johnson and Principal Financial Group and all these big global companies that you'd think of that either he taught, led, trained, or had other people that did. And his daughter reached out to me when he passed away and asked if I would speak at his funeral. Sometimes the impact that you will have as a coach, advisor, encourager, mentor, leader, manager, you don't always know what that's going to look like. You don't always know what your impact's going to be. You don't always know what the long term is. But I can assure you, the investment that you've made in someone else through this program is making a positive impact. It is making a positive difference, not just in them, but the people they will interact with throughout their life. There's 3 things that I'd like to leave you with. If you want to write these down, you're welcome to. If you want to take them on your phone, like I'm actually giving you, as a speaker, I'm giving you permission to take your phone out. Can you believe that? But if you want to take these down, there's 3 things that whether you're a mentor or mentee or somebody just views you that way, that can be a great impact, especially here in a professional organization, especially in the workplace, that can make a huge difference. Right now, our team is actually going through a book study. Internally, we do this on a regular basis, but we're going through a book study. And the book is The 7 Commitments of a Great Team by John Gordon. The 7 Commitments of a Great Team by John Gordon. Now, he's got multiple commitments in there because the point of his book is realizing that it's the commitments we make that truly make the difference, not necessarily just the goals that we set. The commitments are the ones that make the difference because if you commit to something and you honor that commitment, now you're making some real change. Now you're making some real impact. But one of the commitments in there, which is the first of 3 things that I want to share with you, is the commitment to valuing each other. The commitment to valuing each other. You know what that takes? There's really only one requirement to value someone else. You know what it is? To honor the unique strengths, experience, and expertise that they have. To honor who they are. For who they are. Now, it doesn't mean that they won't improve or that we don't have improvements or growth or changes that we'll make. That's not what that means. When we make the commitment to value each other, it means that you're going to see that person for the value that they create, for the collective goal that all of you have together. The commitment to valuing each other. That's the first of three things I'd love to leave you with. The second one is this, which this program addresses very directly and so successfully. And it's building trust. Building trust. So the first one, commitment to valuing each other. The second one, building trust. Building trust happens through relationships, doesn't it? Now I'm going to challenge your thinking on one thing when it comes to building trust. Let's see. I'm just going to pick some. What's your name? Maria. So Maria, you and I don't know each other, do we? Okay, so Maria and I are meeting for the first time. Now, if I want to gain and build Maria's trust, then there might be a whole lot of things I'm going to try to do that, right? I'm going to try to honor who she is. I'm going to try to value her. I'm going to try to build some rapport. And there might be a variety of different ways that I do that. I could do that for years and years and years and years, and I may never get Maria's trust until Maria is willing to give it to me. See, sometimes we think trust is based on the things we do for someone else. The moment trust happens is when they give you their trust. See, there's a relationship there that has to be built to where both people are willing to have that trust with one another. So the second thing that I want to leave you with is building trust. It's done through relationships. It's done through small group, one-on-one, small group interactions that also have a connection to the larger organization that you're a part of, or the larger or the bigger vision that you're a part of, the bigger mission that you're a part of together. There's a connection there that also creates that trust. So build trust, but do it through relationships like this, through participating in programs like this, through getting to know your coworkers, to getting to know the people around you. Sometimes even just getting to know the people that are in completely other departments that you don't know if you'll ever interact again, but you're a part of the same mission, aren't you? You're a part of the same community. So that's the second thing, building trust. Here's the third one that I'll leave you with. Contribute to someone else's success. Contribute to someone else's success. So committing to valuing each other, building trust, and then contributing to someone else's success. As you contribute to someone else's success, your success will grow. You will experience more achievement. It's probably going to be that deeper meaning achievement. It's not going to be the achievement of a goal. It's going to be that deep internal fulfillment that you know that you did something, a selfless act to contribute to someone else's success. That's the type of achievement that sticks with you. Right now, just in your minds or written down, write down the names of 5 people that have contributed to your success. In other words, when you think of these 5 people, there are people that when you think of them, you know you're in the position you're in, whether it's here at work or somewhere else or just in life. You know you're in that position because of a contribution they made in you. Let me give you just a few seconds to think about that. 5 people that come to mind, either write them down, keep them in your head, that have contributed to your success. Everybody getting them? So I'm going to give you an exercise to do. I won't know whether you do it or not, but I can assure you if you choose to do it, there will be a benefit. And it's going to be a great one. So of the 5, if any of them are still alive, if any of them are still around, at some point today, simply send them a note of appreciation and be specific about the contribution they've made in you and in your life. Send it without any expectation of return. Send it without any expectation of getting something back. Some of you might get one back saying, "Are you okay? You're still alive?" That's okay. But with those 5 people, whoever you can, send them a note of appreciation and remind them and let them know what the contribution was that they made in your life. Excuse me, there's extreme benefit in that. It's what draws us together. It's what connects us. All of you have this beautiful opportunity right now in Queen Creek, within this organization, working within the municipality, there's going to be the impact that you have for many, many years in whatever role you're is here in Queen Creek. Whether that's going to be for a short time or for a long time, you'll know that there's going to be a part of Queen Creek's story that's written by you. This rapid growth time frame will be written by you. And I am so thankful that you're willing to invest in each other and participate in a program like this. I thank you for the opportunity to be here with you this morning and just share a few thoughts about what you're doing and what you're participating in. The hope is that all of you will continue to participate in programs like this, whether it's formally or informally, but that you'll continue to invest in others. And therefore, you're making an investment, and they'll make an investment in you as well. There's a saying that we always finish our trainings with. I'm going to share it with you. You can steal it, use it, borrow it, do it in your own meetings. But these three phrases, these three words, if you will, they remind us the impact that we have. They remind us about the types of decisions that it's important that we make as mentors, as leaders, as managers, as people that are being poured into as a mentee. So if you want to write these down, you can. But this is what we say at the end of every meeting that we have internally. It's what we say at the end of every training that we do, Joshua development-wise. But it goes like this. It's be bold, stay strong, enjoy. It's be bold. Think about that. In your decision making, in your effort, be bold. You're in a growing community. Bold decisions need to be made, don't they? And they're not easy. I understand that. There's going to be tough decisions that are made. There's going to be unpopular decisions that are made. You have to have boldness within you to make those kind of decisions. And hopefully that's part of what you're getting out of this mentorship program is some of that extra confidence, some of that assurance of the value you're creating so that you can make those bold decisions. You can pour into people boldly in a way that maybe isn't common. Maybe it's even looked at as like, why are you doing so much for that person? That's what you want people to ask. You want people to get to the point where they're like, Tracy, why are you pouring so much into Carrie? Why are you doing that? Because it gives you the opportunity to explain why you're doing that. Be bold. Stay strong. Requires a little bit of strength and resilience to be in an organization like this, doesn't it? To be in a community like this? Does it require a little bit of strength, a little bit of courage, a little bit of fortitude, a little bit of perseverance? That's why we say stay strong. And then here, enjoy, we finish with that one, because the reality is, if you can't be having fun most of the time with what you're doing, you probably need to be doing something else. To enjoy what you do is one of the greatest success factors you can have. And if you don't enjoy what you do, something's off, because you actually are designed to enjoy what you do. So if you don't, something's off. Either it's within yourself, your own mindset, or it's something in the environment around you, or it might just be doing what you're doing. If any of you quit your job in the next week, Bruce is going to come knocking on my door and find out what in the world I told you guys. But the reality is it's important that we enjoy what we do. Thanks for letting me be a part of your morning. Thanks for letting me be a part of this program. And thanks for letting our team be a part of what's happening here in Queen Creek, even if it's only for a moment. Thank you for what you're doing. It's great to see all of you.